Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome to lecture 17, and this is the second lecture in module 4. In the previous lecture we discussed about the concept of learning and why learning is important, and we also discussed about different types of learning. In today's lecture we are going to primarily learn about different theories of learning which will help trainers or an organization to understand, okay, so based on my understanding about what are the needs of the trainees or the potential participants for the training, and also understand how do I focus on tapping the interest of the trainees and how do I make them learn in detail whatever the training programs we are coming up. These learning theories will help you to understand, okay, how do we configure the training, or how do we develop the training program, how the content should look like, or how do we create interest among the learners. So the learning theory will going to help all of us to understand how the training can be designed in such a way that it will create more interest, or also what should be the content in a training program in order to create more interest among the participants. Let us get into the lecture. So we are going to discuss about various theories of learning, and when we talk about learning theories, what is this learning theories? Learning theory is nothing but it is talking about a set of principles that will explain how best a trainee or a learner can acquire or retain or recall new information, skills or knowledge during the learning process. So the learning theory is going to talk about some set of principles which are going to help to understand how my trainees or learners can acquire or retain or recall the informations or skills they learn during the training programs. So which is also talking about a cognitive, emotional and environmental influence, as well as their prior experience will play a very important role in how understanding a worldview through this training program. So the learning theory is going to help us to understand, okay, how do my learners learn? What does it make them to learn? Okay, so let us understand what are the theories which we are going to discuss. We are going to discuss about reinforcement theory, and we are going to learn about social learning theory, how individuals will learn. We will also see what this goal setting theory talks about in terms of understanding the individual, how it will motivate the individuals to learn learn through the training programs. And we will also spend time on understanding the need theories, because it is very, very important whether my training programs are in alignment with the need of the participants of the training program. And also expectancy theory and adult learning theory. These are the theories which we are going to learn in this lecture. Okay, so let us start with the reinforcement theory. So what is this reinforcement theory talks about? See, the reinforcement theory comes from the the broader perspective of the behaviorism, which says individual behavior is a function of an outcome. Okay. So what do I say about behavior is a function of the outcome? Let's say there are two different reinforcement. One can be a positive reinforcement and another can be a negative reinforcement. Let's say a positive reinforcement. When an individual employee when they perform a particular task, or when they exhibit a particular behavior, then my organization is going to reward them positively. It is going to stimulate my employees to repeat such behavior. That's a positive reinforcement. For example, giving a gift or incentive or a bonus for achieving something, which is a positive reinforcement, where it comes with some reward. There is a stimulus which encourages an employees to repeat such behavior. And there is also another one where is a negative reinforcement. There is in a negative reinforcement we also have negative reinforcement, avoidance, active avoidance and escape. See, one is about a punishment. So when you repeat a behavior, when you repeat or show a particular behavior in a workplace, for that you will be punished for exhibiting such a behavior. Another one, if you are avoiding not to make the particular behavior, it will not hinder you. For example, let's say there is a target which is 100 units per day. Okay. One is, when you exceed 100 units, you will, let's say, get incentive or a bonus or an appreciation letter from the manager and boss, which is a positive reinforcement. You wanted to do it and repeat it. Now comes, let's say, when you are producing only 80 units as against the expectations of 100 units, then let's imagine that you are going to lose the salary, 20% of your salary for the particular day, which is actually you are going to lose. Then this reinforcement, this kind of a negative reinforcement, which will make you to say that yes, better that I at least reach the 100 units, otherwise I will be losing my salary. In another instance, for example, punishment. So let's say if you are not following the safety protocols in the organizations, let's say you will be demoted, or even you will be given a suspension for a specific period. So what will happen? It is actually actively making somebody to not to do that, not to do that, in the sense, you will always follow all the safety protocols. So these are the ways in which we understand the behavior of an individual. So individual behavior is also dependent on the function of the outcome. So what I am going to get when I do this particular behavior? Is my behavior is going to give me a positive stimulus? Organization can follow both kind of a reinforcement. One can follow a positive reinforcement, which provides you more positive outcomes in terms of giving benefits or incentives or a bonus or a reward, recognition. Another way is that in case if you are not doing it, the reward will be taken away from you, which is one way of negative reinforcement. Another is a punishment. If you do not do so, I am going to punish you. So this way also you can promote such a particular behavior from the employees. Okay, now to understand more, what are the various factors which are affected by this factor understanding the reinforcement. So there are various factors which affect the reinforcement of the individual, whether the employee will be repeating the particular behavior which are favorable for an organization based on various factors. One is about satiation. What is the satiation? Which is a degree of need. For example, there is an employee who is already a wealthy employee who has a lot of money with them, and for the particular employee, if you give them bonus, that may not be a motivation factor, right? So for example, if you want somebody to repeat the particular behavior, meaning that who is very good at interacting with the customers or a client, okay, and now let's say you want the particular employee to repeat it if this person is already have a lot of money, or the person who is not interested in getting bonus as an incentive. If you give them that particular person a bonus, he or she may not repeat the particular behavior. So you need to understand what is it that my employees are valuing it. Based on the need, you need to provide the reinforcement. Based on that, he or she will be repeating the particular behavior. For example, that person will be always looking for a recognition, some appreciation. Then if you provide appreciation or recognition for those employees, he or she will be repeating the particular behavior. Now next factor comes immediacy. What is this immediacy? The time lapse between the desired behavior and the reinforcement. Okay, you are expecting a specific behavior. Okay, let's say being on time to the office, or maybe when you have a shop floor, everybody has to present on their respective workstation so that the complete production can be over. The end output can be produced. So now look at, you are expecting them to at 9 o'clock everybody has to be on the workstation, and you will also have a reinforcement which you wanted to provide a reinforcement either way of reward and recognition or whatever it is. So what is the time elapsed between the desired behavior when somebody shows up on time against the reinforcement what you are going to do? Let's say the shorter time between the two, more likely that employee will relate that yes, the reinforcement with the behavior. Let's say if every member in an assembly line reports exactly at 9 o'clock, and is there then if there is a clap from other teams that they're not everybody is there, then it is people will associate, yes, this appreciation is, they will associate this appreciation with respect to their timely reporting to their workstations. Or let's say the moment some of their employees are not reaching their workstations, and the first 1 hour productivity bonus is not provided to the workers, so they will associate, okay, if they are not coming on time, this is going to be reflected. So what is the time between this reinforcement and the desired behavior, which will also have a lot of impact on the repetition of the particular behavior. So it should be always very close between the reinforcement and the desired behavior we are expecting. Okay, then the size. What is the magnitude of a reward or a punishment? It can be a reward, as I said, positive reinforcement, or it can be a negative reinforcement. How big it will have my impact on the effect on me. So based on that, people will repeat or show interest on the learning. So the reinforcement theory, which essentially talks about, okay, how will you able to understand that interest of my employees? What is that they're going to value most? Are we going to have them a part of the training program, unless otherwise you don't expect them to be actively in the training programs. For example, you are conducting a training program which is specifically on programming or coding and all that, and they know that this is going to essentially help them in getting a promotions or getting incentives or bonuses. Then what will happen? The employees who are participating in the training will show a lot of interest in the training program. So that is how we are going to connect the concept of theory with the practice. So the learning theory helps you to see, okay, what are we going to offer, how important is that for them, and what is the reinforcement it is going to give them. It may be give them the bonus, it may be give them the immediate promotions, or they become a team leader, or they become a manager. So this will also influence the learners, how much interest they will show on the training program. Okay, so this is the reinforcement theory. Now let us go on the social learning theory. What is the social learning theory says? The social theory says people will learn by observing others, watching others whom they believe they have a credible and knowledgeable, who are referred as the person who knows things in a particular field. This is called people not necessarily to experience or go through the true learning. It is also, the social learning theory also state that it's against what people always feel, that individual has to go through the training so that they learn. It is also by observing others you might also learn, right? That's where we are talking about visual aid learning, where by observing other people, how do they perform the particular task, or in a video tutorial, through that you learn so how other people are performing the are handling the machinery. Through that you will also able to replicate in your workplaces. So social learning theory, which essentially state that people will learn by observing people. Okay, so we will learn from teachers, observing teachers, our peers, co-workers, and we have seen YouTube influencers and other celebrities. So this theory actually recognizes that as behavior is reinforced or rewarded, tends to be repeated. When you are able to be observing that when particular set of behavior, if it is rewarded or reinforced, which gives me some satisfaction, which gives me some motivation, I will be able to repeat that behavior. Or some behavior which are rewarded, I will be motivated to repeat the behavior. For example, if I am being on time all the time for my job, then at the monthly you will get some incentive. What is going to reinforce me? I want to be always report to my office on time. So this will also repeat. Similarly, this learning comes. So let us understand in more detail what this social learning theory talks about. Okay, so this is actually a process. So social learning theory suggests that there are 4 processes involved in learning. Okay, so first is an attention process. What is this attention process? In this attention process, individual, as I said, the social learning theory says people learn by observing people, meaning that I am identifying a model here. Model, I refer to somebody who is an expert in the particular field, somebody who I relate with, right? And I identify, these people are being always proven that they are a best performer in my company and who's really skilled, who's really knowledgeable. So I have to identify the model, and I don't look at them, observe them, pay attention to my model I am referring to an individual or maybe a manager, maybe an employee, maybe your co-worker, peers, anybody, whatever you are intended to learn, you will pay attention to those people whom you refer to as a model. And you will observe what they're doing, how do they perform. Then comes the next stage, is a retention phase. Now you want to retain whatever you observed, how they performed in a particular instances, how did they respond during a conflict situations in the workplace, how do they manage their subordinates or their employees, how do they respond to the customer or a client. Then you are trying to coding, and you will able to learn, retain how my model actually performed in a similar instances. Now comes motor reproductions. You are able to repeat those learning. That's very important in absence of the model. Now the model is no longer model. I am referring to somebody you observed, and in the second stage you wanted to retain whatever you observed from the particular model. In the next phase you are in a motor reproduction stage, where you will be able to repeat those behavior in absence of the model. That now you will perform the particular job in your organizations by observe whatever you learned by observing the other persons. And next comes the motivational process. So because of that activity you do, and you will get a feedback in the sense in terms of appreciations, or you will feel that you are able to perform really well, your efficiency is increasing, your output is increasing, you are getting incentives, you are getting people been appreciating you, and there is no error being identified in your work. That will give you a motivational process. What will happen? You will be repeating what you are actually doing. So we will understand much better on each of this. So the attention phase, where individual need to pay attention to a behavior and its consequences and forming a model representation of the behavior. As I said, you will have to observe a model, and you will also see what type of a behavior they do, what type of a consequences it comes, and then you will have to representation of the behavior you need to build. And then comes the retention, how well the behavior is remembered. As we said, you observed a certain behavior of your model, and how well you are able to remember those behavior, because those behavior may be noticed, it is not always remembered. Now it is very important. You just see and you don't remember those behavior, then you cannot repeat those behavior in a workplace. So that's the second stage of the social learning theory, talks about retaining the information what you are observed. Okay. Then comes the motor reproduction, where with our limited ability and we are able to reproduce the behavior which we observed, retained in absence of the model, which were that's how the learning actually happens within you. Then comes the motivational process, where I was already said, yes, when you show a behavior, it will give you some reward. Maybe it can be a positive reward, or it can be a negative reward in terms of if you are not really doing well, you will be punished, but you really do well, it becomes a motivation that you will repeat as such a learning what you have learnt newly, or maybe you will be using that learning in a new context as well. Okay, this is the social learning theory, talks about how an individual will learn by observing people. Why this becoming important in understanding training is that what type of a method I can use. You will be able to show videos or show how people used to carry out the particular task, meaning that people can learn by seeing how others are doing. For example, laboratory experiments, we would have seen that yes, there is a demonstrator who demonstrate how to do this. By looking at the demonstrations, you are learning, right? Individual will use to learn. That's the process of learning. When my demonstrator shows, I am actually paying attention how the results are coming out. Once the training is over, the demonstration is over, what I will do, I will want to repeat it. So you need to retain it, and so that you will be able to reproduce it, right? That's why the social learning theory is important in a context of a learning. Next theory, which is about a goal setting theory. So what this goal setting theory says, the goal itself will give direction to an employee. It will also motivate employee about what needs to be done, how much efforts to be required. For example, there is a task given. As I said, 100 units to be produced. This tell me how much of effort I should put, what is the direction which I should do so that I will be able to produce 100 units per day, right? The goal itself will be a motivation factor. And why, if you wanted to understand how goal can motivate people, because there are important features of the goal setting theory. What is that? We have to understand. We cannot, because you cannot set a goal which are unrealistic in nature, which will itself act as a demotivator. For example, same example of this 100 units. Let's say in a 8 hours shift where fairly employee can only produce 80 units. Imagine a situation. Now, if you are asking them to produce 100 units which are unrealistic in nature, this will even more demotivate people not to perform, because they might feel, no, I cannot, even whatever I do, I cannot reach 100, but how do they expect me to do 100? So it is very important to understand how should a goal to be assigned to individual, because goal should motivate people. It should also appreciate and give them more energy to employees to perform. Okay. Now let us understand some of the features of goal setting theory, which says willingness to work towards attainment of the goal is a main source of motivation. Yes, because people or employees should be interested in pursuing this particular goal. If the goal is not attractive or goal itself is not challenging, then people or my employees will not be motivated. And next important thing comes is you need to set a very specific and clear goal which will lead to a better output and a better performance. If a goal is not clearly set, it's not a specific goal. Let's say company says we wanted to show better performance in the next quarter. Okay, let's say we are in quarter 1, then company is talking about, okay, we wanted to have an improved performance in quarter 2. What are you talking about? What is that improved performance are you talking about? Are you talking about more customers? Are you talking about more profit? Are you talking about more revenue? Are you talking about more employees? What are you talking about? You need to be having a very specific and clear goal so that it will drive a better output and better performance. So again, as I was already saying, goal should be very realistic in nature, and it should also challenge people. When when a goal is provided, maybe as I said, 100 units. As I said, when it is unrealistic, then it cannot help, it cannot motivate people. Otherwise, if you imagine that you are setting a goal which are realistic in nature and it is also challenging, people have to stretch themselves or learn something new to perform the particular task. When a challenging goal is accepted by the individual, they will have more motivation to perform the goal. Let's say somebody is asking you to perform this task. You know that it is challenging, but the moment you accept, you will have more motivation to do the goal. Right? You will be learning new concept, new tools, because you have accepted the challenge that I will perform. Then and goal should also provide you a feedback about the results. The time to time feedback will provide more motivation, which will help the people to know that are we traveling in the right direction or not. The goal should have a regular feedback mechanism in any work environment. Okay, so employees' participation in goal is not always desirable. Okay, so you may not expect an employee to participate in setting the goal. There are a concept of management by objective where both the employee and an employer will participate in setting the goal. What is very important is that goal should be realistic, it should be challenging, and it should also have some feedback configured towards it. For example, we also talk about a SMART goal, which is specific, measurable, okay, attainable, it is realistic and timely. There should be a time bound within which I will be able to achieve my goal. So the goal will act as a source of motivation itself. Okay. So now we are going to a very important theory, which is going to talk about the need-based theory. So when every individual will have a different need. Okay. When the particular need is scarce or which I do not have sufficient things which will meet my need, that will act as my source of motivation. For example, you are traveling and you have a lot of money with you and you're traveling and all that, but you are hungry. So that time, what is the motivation for you? You want to find out restaurant or a place to eat. That is your deficiency, which you are starving, you are hungry, you want food. So the need-based theory, which also says that the need is a deficiency that a person is experiencing at any point of time. we are going to learn about two important theories, which is Maslow's Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which most of you would have heard about it, and next one is about McLuhan theory of needs, which are focusing on need pyramid theory, which is going to talk about what are the different need individual will have. The deficiency needs, when an individual or do not have the or if they go through a deficiency in the particular needs, then that is the one which will motivate individuals to look for. Okay, so let us look at the theories. So this side, if you look at a pyramid where you say it says hierarchy of needs, it goes from the bottom to up. So first is the physiological needs, which talks about your basic needs of an individual, which is food and other basic needs. When your basic needs are not met, you will not be thinking about anything else. So when an organization trying to provide any or ask an employee to perform well, when you have to understand what type of a need my employees have, and you have to meet the lower need, which are all called, these three are called lower order needs. Okay, lower order needs. These needs are otherwise also called a deficiency needs, without which you cannot expect people to go to the next level of the need. When their physiological needs are met, then people, every individual will be talking about a safety need, which safety needs we are talking about a physical and psychological safety, which you do not have any harm both physiologically as well as the psychologically. Once you have this safety need is being met, then people will be talking about a social or a belonging need, where you are talking about the relationship, you are talking about love and affection, all that comes in the social needs. When my social needs are met, we will be moving to the next level of need, which is a esteem needs, where we are talking about recognition, reputation, all that comes here in the esteem needs. The last one is a self-actualization. So here is the stage where you are reaching what you are capable of performing, which is a self-actualization stage. Okay, self-actualization. So here, what is that? This lead, these needs, when there is a deficiency, and what will happen? People will look for to meet these needs, and there is also possibility individual to move. The needs may move in a different times. For example, somebody do not have a better belongingness, or they do not have a proper team members who supports them. Then organization has to ensure that yes, you have a better team that provides support to the co-workers, right? And then comes to the McLuhan theory of needs, which has again three needs, which are need for affiliation, which are very similar to social or belonging needs that Abraham Maslow is talking about. Here, the need for affiliation talks about yes, people look for belongingness or a relationship or love and affection at this stage, and people who look for that, they will want to satisfy that need. For example, people who are need for affiliation is really high, and they wanted to be in a same team, supporting each other. They wanted to have a better relationship with the co-workers and employees or my subordinates. They are fine even to forgo some of the goals being set for the individual employees. Then need for power, people who are looking for a power and who need power by I want to become a manager, I want to control others. So those people will be aggressive in order to achieve our positional powers. They look for power. Then need for achievement, somebody wants to have a better achievement. They will have a different needs. Based on the needs of the employees, you need to, as an organization, as a manager, you need to focus on what type of a need my employees want. Are they looking for a safety needs? Are they looking for affiliation? Are they looking for a power or esteem needs? Based on that, you need to provide motivation to the employees. Unless otherwise, if you do not understand what are the needs of the employees, then it will be very difficult for you to motivate your employees. Now, similar is the case if you are relating this need theory to the training, where you need to understand, okay, how do I design a training program which are going to cater to the needs of the employees? Are they looking at any of this perspective, or looking at the esteem needs where they can look out a better positional power they can get? So you have to understand the need of the employees and design your training program accordingly. Okay, Now the next one is about expectancy theory. In any instances, what will happen now? Individual will always have certain personal goals. Okay, so this is the end outcome. So where I will have some goals which are values which I look for. Okay, for that I look at to get this end outcome, I will relate a relationship. Okay, so I will put some effort. I expect that effort will lead to a better performance. Okay, I also see when I perform, I see that my organization will provide reward. It can be incentive, or it can be recognition, or a position, or a promotion, all that, which is very important to me. So based on what I interested to reach this outcome, I have these processes to occur. Okay, so I value this particular one because I feel I want a power. Let's say this is my expectation. I want power. So to get a power in my organization, what I have to do, I should put some effort, which is what? Greater performance, or having a new skill or a knowledge in the workplace. So when I show better performance, better productivity, and I also learned a new tool or a skill, what will happen? My organization will give me promotion. Let's say if they make me as a manager. So what I'm trying to do, which is going to meet my expectation that I wanted to have a power. This is the relationship which every individual will feel. That is, individual will put an effort with an expectation that that will lead to certain performance, and I will expect that performance will lead to have a reward from my organization, which I feel that there is an alignment with that particular reward with a personal goal or which I have. So this is one of the theory which says people have an expectations. Based on the expectations, they will put in their effort. So organization should also understand what are the expectations of my employees who are going to participate in the training program. Are they expecting that, okay, at the end of the training program, I should have learned this particular tool. At the end of this training program, I should have a better interpersonal skill, or I would have developed a better report writing skill, or maybe customer relationship skill. So based on that, you have to provide or customize the training program that will be able to provide or meet the expectations, which I've already explained that yes, this is an expectancy. Okay, my effort will lead to a performance, and performance will lead to outcome. That of course the outcome is what I value the most, right? Where I am talking about what as a personally, what is the outcome which I am feeling that it will satisfy my values which I am looking at. And as I said, I want to have a power. So to have the power, I wanted to be in a position. To reach the position, I have to put in some effort in terms of performance. That performance should give me some reward, that promotion or a managerial positions, which will give me the expectation of power. Okay. Then, which we have already explained this theory. The last one is about an adult learning theory, which is nothing but an andragogy, where it's a practice of educating adults to develop a knowledge or skill. So adult learning is where you are to educate an adult to learn a new knowledge or skills. There are 5 key assumptions about adult learners which makes an adult to learn a new skill or knowledge. What are those assumptions? Okay, so this principles of this andragogy, which is adult learning, which says that adults learn better from experience. So when they give you an opportunity, they will explore and they will also learn from the mistakes. So adult will be interested to learn through experiences. When they make mistakes, they will learn that, okay, I should not repeat this mistake. When they see there is a better output, then they want to repeat this particular set of behavior because which is giving me a better productivity or better outcome. So adult also favor a very pragmatic, which is a very practical approach, must be able to apply learning to solve a specific problem. So they always look at a very pragmatic approach in solving a specific problem. Adults are more interested in learning things that have immediate relevance. If I can learn something which has a relevance, let's say company is providing a training. That training should have a relevance to their current workplace. Let's say you have been asked to participate in a training where you feel like if I go through the training, I don't see any possibility of using that particular learning through this training program in my current work role. I feel disconnected with the training program, I will really not motivated, because adults always look that, can I see some relevance of what I am currently doing? They always wanted to learn or participate in a training program which I can connect with the relevance. Okay. And then adult needs to be involved in a planning and evaluation of their instructions. So adult want their participations to say what should be the content of the program, what type of a training can have, what type of evaluation system I can have in the training program. So these are the principles. If you want to design a training program, you should always make sure that yes, they are given more opportunity to experience or practice during the training program, more simulation based training program or assessment based training program, because and also something pragmatic in approach, so that they will appreciate those training programs, and also they want to see something relevant to their current workplaces. So these are some of the learnings which has to be taken, so that you will be able to come up with a better propose a better training program which will have a better implication to the employees. Okay. So these are the references, and today we learned about various theories on learning, which we talked about: reinforcement theory, social learning theory, and we also goal setting theories, expectancy theory, valency theory. All that theories have given a broader understanding about how do I create interest among my learners, and how do I design my content so that my learners are interested and motivated to learn something new or take away these knowledge and skills to a new context in their workplaces. Thank you.